Howdy ho, dickheads, it's me, once again, Dick Record, coming to you live from the studio in New York City. We're going to be recording the farewell to the format right now, actually. And you might have noticed, we only have 42 packs to open. You know why? I did one draft of this set. I did one draft, and I don't even know if that makes me eligible or like, I just, like, what are my thoughts on this set, you know? That's all that I have. That's all that I have, because I did one draft. I went 5-3. And I wasn't excited about this set, and I will tell you why right now, actually, while we do a quick pack opening, and I'm probably gonna babble more. Going into preview season, these things saying first is actually likely correct. This is actually likely correct. So going into preview season, I wasn't feeling the flavor of this set, right? And it's very strange because I was so into Final Fantasy, and I thought I wasn't gonna be. But this set, and let's preface this by saying I love Star Wars. I love the original Star Trek films. I love The Next Generation, right? I love sci-fi, but this just didn't hit. This set didn't hit, you know? I would look at cards and be like, "What, a spacecraft? Sure." The commander rules changes were interesting, right? Allowing vehicles and starcraft to be commanders now meant that Shorikai Genesis Engine could finally be a commander. I always thought it could be, but apparently not. People can now play Isika's Chariot, and I think the main reason was because, like, there were probably people that just wanted to run the Seriema as their commander. In addition to the fact that the commander product for this set, I think there's only like 2 decks, but they printed it with the plan that one of the commanders would be a Starcraft. So I don't have much experience with this set. I did a draft, and then the midweek magic last week was Phantom Sealed and Phantom Bot draft, and actually those were fun. But I don't feel like I missed out on anything, because, like, I don't know. Like, so much of this set felt like it was so removed from what I'm used to in Magic the Gathering. And I say that knowing that, like, I had nothing but good things to say about Final Fantasy previously, but, like, just the thought of traveling in space in this set, right? And then all the bizarre meme things, like Vote Out being a removal spell, which is certainly going to show up in an Among Us secret lair, you know, as well as cards like Paradox Haze being part of the additional the bonus sheet, which were so rare. They're going to be even rarer in the next set, from what I understand, which is going to be not Spider-Man Through the Omen Paths, and I almost kind of wish that it was just Through the Omen Paths in print. Because part of me is like, yeah, it's cool. I used to love Spider-Man, and then they didn't secure the rights. That's an old story. It's probably not for this podcast. But, you know, like, what I did play of this set, I liked, right? It felt like a slower, grindier format, which was helped along by the station mechanic, right? If you were not attacking and you weren't planning on blocking with a creature, stationing seemed like a good option, right? I don't think there were any vehicles in the set, so you could just station this vehicle. But it was strange because, like, it felt like a nice, slower, grindier format. In the midweek magic, I went Esper, you know, and I just drafted every value card, and it seemed to work. I had, like, enough depressurizes, but then there was a Servandum in there somehow, right? It didn't feel like it was hyper aggressive, although you could pull off wins with some of these weirder cards, like weapons manufacturing plus a sacrifice outlet, right? Just having that out in black red, and then having the 3/2 that every time you sacrifice an artifact or a creature, its activated ability is sacrifice an artifact or a creature to scry one or surveil one, something like that. But the flavor wasn't hitting, and then I felt like maybe we're just getting too many sets. This year we're getting 6 standard sets. We're not even, like, done with the year in a few days, in 2 days. I don't even know when this is gonna go up. I guess it's gonna have to go up tomorrow. Tomorrow the Spider-Man set comes out on Magic the Gathering Arena and on other platforms, and that's going to be the 5th set. And then there's still going to be an Avatar set this year. That's 6 sets this year. That's 2 months per set. That's too much. And maybe that's like a bigger part of my general malaise and indifference towards this set, because part of me feels like I don't even think I really care about the Spider-Man set. I plan to play it. It's going to be weird because I just, like, I'm going to keep thinking, like, is this Miles Morales or is this, like, you know, the Scorpion, right? They both say Sting, but Miles Morales does it with electricity. I know, I get it. There are interesting cards in here. Cosmic Grand Zenith more or less brought back one of my favorite archetypes in Esper Pixie, right? Although the mana is still bad, despite the fact that this set had five of the shock lands, which means I'm assuming a future set, not Avatar, but possibly Lorwyn, or I think we're going back to Strixhaven after Lorwyn next year. But the rest of this year is just going to be all Universes Beyond, right? Spider-Man, Avatar. This feels like a Universes Beyond set. And it feels, it's even so much as like they're going to different universes. They're flying spacecrafts. And I know that this whole setting was more or less teased in the Unfinity Silver Border set, but I consider those non-canon, and I'm pretty sure that they are non-canon, right? So it's just like, why are we going there, you know? With all these like bizarre xenomorphs and everything. Whatever, you know. It still played pretty well. It felt pretty balanced. Obviously there were colors that were not great, and then green was supposedly just better than all the other colors by a country mile, with cards like Glacier Godmaw, despite the fact that the set didn't have duels aside from the one of the bonus sheets, one of the tap land, man land bonus sheets, which was all lands, right? There wasn't much fixing, except they've turned Wayfarer's Bauble into a token, right? And they even reference it on the card, what was it, something Wayfarer, right? It's a 3/3 for 3 in green that made a lander token. Those lander tokens are essentially Wayfarer's Baubles. You 2 and tap, sacrifice it, get any land from your deck, put it into play tapped. This game is so power crept, you know? It's just so power crept. It's gonna look very, very different from what I'm used to. But I do sort of have this I do sort of have a feeling as to why they decided to go into space. And before I get to that point, I do want to point this out, because we just got an Extinguisher Battleship. I think this is the sealed format, or the draft format, the limited format, that had the most board wipes. Because there was a blue-black one, there was a white one, there was Pinnacle Starcade, which is another white one for smaller permanents, and there's Extinguisher Battleship. That's like 4 board wipes. That's a lot of board wipes, actually. I might be missing one too. Oh, there's also not Pain for All, the black-red one that makes half the board disappear, and the other half you get control of, or the caster gains control of, and then like they all get untapped and get haste, and that basically wins you the game anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of there were a lot of board wipes in this set, which is, I'm curious what the idea behind that was. This one, Extinguisher Battleship, which is on turn 8, it might not matter. Like there might be, you know, some 6/6s out there already, but like this also destroys like literally anything. But yeah, going back to it, there was my concern with this. I guess not with this, but with sets like this, right, where we're continuing to get into more like science fiction settings, is that it feels like the developers at Wizards of the Coast know that they're going to, at some point in the future, need to have an outlet to print some of the Universe Beyond cards without the Universe Beyond license. They're not always going to have the license to print Lord of the Rings. They're not always going to have license to print Final Fantasy, that set, right? They currently do, I believe, and that's why there's a good amount of product out there. Except for the collector's product, I know, blah, blah, blah. People are very, very upset that they couldn't get collector's product. And it was scalped to high hell because the Pokemon, I'm sorry, the Final Fantasy set sort of attracted the Pokemon scalping crowd, whatever. That's a separate problem. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about though is that, like, now we have this space set, right? We had, when it was novel, when it was Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, where it's like a cyberpunk Japan Magic set, right? That was novel. I was here for that. That was great. But now here's the space set, right? And they did a Harry Potter set in Strixhaven. Not necessarily Harry Potter, but like the flavors there, right? And so I think that they're going to use these as like sort of avenues to reprint some of the Universes Beyond cards within Universes Within. There it is, Galactic Wayfarer. That's the Wayfarer's Bauble creature. For Universes Within. Now, some of the cards they can just print in whatever set because it's not like it's not specifically a Universes Beyond thing, right? Like Orcish Bowmasters. Thankfully, they called that Orcish Bowmasters and not Orcish Bowmasters of Bara Doom or whatever. You guys are gonna roast me in the comments because I don't really know Lord of the Rings mythology that well. I would have eaten it up if it came out when I was like 5 or 6, but those movies came out when I was like 20. I think I had more important things to worry about, right? Khazad-dûm, there we go. Orcish Bowmasters of Khazad-dûm. If it was that, they would have a difficult time reprinting Orcish Bowmasters, but they can print Orcish Bowmasters in whatever set. Hopefully, power appropriate. Same thing for Reprieve, right? That's a card that they can print into any set because there being a Reprieve is not specific to Lord of the Rings. However, you know, it was first printed in Lord of the Rings. I do think that this being a Universes Within set is also supposed to make it a little bit easier for us to absorb the Universes Beyond sets as being standard legal and legal in therefore all formats, aside from cards that are banned for various power level reasons, right? Because if the Spacecraft set is within the scope of the Magic the Gathering universe, then Spider-Man should be fine. You know, Bagel and Schmear is okay. Hot dog cart's fine. Instant ramen, sure. But half of the sets this year have been Universes Beyond. And we had the Wacky Races set, right? We had a return to Eldraine, which was kind of fun, actually. Eldraine was like the first limited set that I ever played. It was the first pre-release I ever went to. And Wilds of Eldraine, I was looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it was kind of fast. This set, though, this felt like a good speed. I'm not going to bring up the chart. I don't care. We're saying goodbye to this format. We're saying goodbye to it with my 42 packs. I mean, I'm at a point where if I want to just like craft things, I just craft them, right? I have so much vault progress. I have so many wild cards that it's just like I could just fill out the set. I don't want to. And that's the reason why I draft, and that's the reason why everybody should draft. So it's to fill out your sets, to fill out your collection, so that you can play the other formats. But also then it becomes a job, doesn't it? I do plan to draft a little bit more Spider-Man. It's gonna be so weird though because so many of those cards, it's like it's clear that this is supposed to be like Venom or the Venom symbiote on something, but it'll say like symbiote as the creature type, and you know, it'll just be like a goo monster. Oh, I forgot 0 Point Ballad. That's 7? Is that 7 board wipes? 7 board wipes. That's 7 board wipes. One thing of note within this format was that you did need to get, I guess not really of note. It's every format, right? You needed to have your 2-drops. If you didn't have your 2-drops, you didn't have anything to do on turn 2. You would fall behind. But I guess that's just limited nowadays. If you do nothing on turn 2 and turn 3, and your opponent plays 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, you lost that game. They're just going to keep hitting you for 1, 2, 3, and you're just going to fall behind. Overall, though, I mean, like, what I did play of this was fine. It was fine. some weird cards in here. I don't know how I feel about lander tokens. I really don't. They seem too good, actually, because you activate them instant speed. It's only 2 mana. It fixes you for any color, right? So technically, if you had something that made a lander token, you did have a 2 mana play, right? If you went Sammy's Curiosity turn 1, lander token turn 2, you likely had all the colors that you needed to play the game, right? You likely did. Some of these cards are weird. This is a hard light containment is strange because it goes on a creature, right? Terra Pact Intimidator. This is actually fun. Oh, I do like that they brought back Kavu, but I do think it's weird that it's like, oh yeah, Kavu are back, but they're also like, I don't know, Klingons, I guess? They're these semi-sentient war beast guys. You know, in the past, I always thought that of Kavu as like these just giant, huge, fire-spitting monster beasts, and now they have spacesuits and civilizations. They know how to drive spacecraft, right? It's very strange. If it was another creature type like the Ilvoy in this set, or the Drix, I believe, right, which is just like that's an entirely new race, sure. I think that cephalids would have actually fit into this set pretty well, just because, like, you know, squid people or octopus people, whatever they're called, right? I do like the use of artifact creatures as like a semi-common thing within the set. I think that that's always fun, right? I remember when I first started playing Magic the Gathering, there were artifact creatures were like colorless and not so common, and now they're just like they're just your regular draft tools, right? I also thought it was kind of interesting that all of the signposts uncommons, all the legendary signposts uncommons had like their uncommon version, and then they had like a rare or mythic version. Like Alpha Rael was an uncommon and a mythic, right? Servandum is an uncommon and a rare. The green-white one also has like a mono-white rare, which was actually a really good card and making a lot of waves in standard, you know. Frenzied Baloth. This card seems fine. Here, Umbral Color Zealot. Blue was very good because you got to like grind out games and draw cards. There were so many cards that were just like, here, this draws you a card, this draws you a card, and I like that. I'm very value oriented. I've come to this realization that I enjoy mid range, and that's kind of how I like to draft, right? When I first discovered just Lola, and his draft VODs, I was like, oh, this guy drafts like how I want to draft. He just has a better he has a better handle on it. It's probably because he's been playing it longer. Go give just Lola Man a follow. I really like his videos. Also, like, share, and subscribe to this one too. I just, you know, like, I feel like I've been pretty. Hey, there's another Sariyama. I feel like I've been pretty middling about this set, but it's just like that's how I feel about this set. It doesn't. I don't know. A lot of these spacecraft, they're either like pretty good or legitimately unplayable, you know? And it's so strange. It is so strange. And then, oh god, here's a Virulent Silencer. This is a funny one too, because it's just like, oh yeah, your artifact creatures can also eke you out a poison control, not a poison control, but a poison win. Very rare. I think the 0-point battle is probably the pick here, or the grav kill. So yeah, that's my thoughts about this set. I think that it's just like, here we have this we have this one plane where it's all space, and it's probably the space between the planes even. I'm sure that if you go in one direction for far enough, right, you zip past Sothera, the Supervoid, and suddenly you're in Dominaria. Then you keep going, and then suddenly you're in, I don't know, oh god, what was that place that they made that Microprose video game for? You know, there's like all these places that are just like, hey, Starfield Vocalist. There's all these places that just like, they exist. They're somewhere, you know? There's nothing connecting them, and the only thing that was really supposed to be able to go through them were the Planeswalkers, and then they opened it up more during Kaldheim with the Omen Paths, and now anybody could do it, right? But so long as you found an Omen path, and then the what was it? The Phyrexians discovered the world, or used the world tree. They connected their Phyrexian whatever to the world tree, and they were connected to everything. And then Ren and 7 became Ren and Realm Breaker, and Ren was just like, I'm just gonna, I'll fix this. Don't worry, I'll connect myself to it. Don't look, it's gonna look really weird though, and it did. It looked super weird. Survey Mechan's a fun one. I actually like this card. I didn't like it at first because of the activated ability, but since the games go long enough, and playing a bunch of differently named lands was possible due to the bonus sheet, as well as if you're splashing for anything. This 10 mana play sometimes just lightning helixes your opponent at the end of the game and draws you 3 cards, and that might just be enough to win you a game, you know? In addition to the fact that it takes tokens and auras pretty well. Not many auras to speak of, but like, oh, and equipment. But not many auras to speak of. I think there's like the hard light containment, right? As a form of removal. But it's a fun card, you know? Way better than I thought it was gonna be. But here, like look at this spacecraft. Like there's some that are just like, oh yeah, that's like a 1 mana, might become a 4/4 eventually, but also like it can help itself crew itself by turning your lander tokens into 2/2 flyers, you know. So then, oh, it's got summoning sickness because it just came into play. You just tap it to start crewing the synthesizer lab ship, but it's 1 blue mana. And then there's like some really awful spacecraft, like there's one in red that you can pump, and when it enters, it deals 3 damage to any creature. That's not good. That's not good at all. Starwinder's good. You know, so like the I guess much like in the artifact set, the vehicle set, Aether Drift, if it didn't have enough value entering, or it wasn't a large enough body, it was kind of unplayable, you know? And I guess, like, it might have been okay within testing to make it as weak as it were, and some of these things to be as weak as they are. And in addition, Mark Rosewater, has stated in the past, like, not every card can be good. And that the game is quote-unquote developed for draft, even though the company that makes the game has been saying, like, yeah, draft isn't doing so good. We just want to sell powerful cards that make people crack boxes, which is a shame, but, you know, stockholders, right? Shareholders, rather. So sometimes there's just cards that are, like, bad, like Decode Transmission. Wait, is this the one? No, that's not this one. Is it this one? No, not that one. This is actually pretty neat. It's a mana value 5 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield and create a lander token. There's a coercion effect in this format for like 2 and a black. It costs only 1 black though if you're if something triggered void. But coercion's also just like not a good card, you know. Depending on the format though. Some versions of coercion, like the one from March of the Machine, was actually pretty good, because if they didn't have anything worth taking, or anything to take at all, you just made a 3/3 token. And it really depends on the format. Like Melded Moxite was actually a good card in this format, and usually the Tormenting Voice in a format's like not so great. Moxite ended up being great because it gave you a 2, a 3, or possibly a 5, right? You know, and it also helped you sculpt your hand. Peregrine Beckoner, this card looks like it's gonna be bad, and then it ends up being very good. Just like warping it in, like your opponent knows, like, oh, I know not to block that, but also like now that creature's massive. What am I gonna do about that? I had an opponent use this to make their their Virus Beetle come back, and then they sacrifice the Virus Beetle to something else. That can't seriously be my first banishing leg. Zoo, Effete, Osteoharmonist. Looks like this will have legs in Modern, actually. People are trying to pair it with Death Shadow. Not to continue to meander on the same point that I'm gonna keep making, you know. I mean, goodbye. Edge of Eternities. You were an okay set. Not crazy about it. I know tons of people were super thrilled about it. I know that tons of people are not thrilled that the rest of the year is going to be Universes Beyond sets, but it seemed pretty balanced. You know, you had very good value plays like Dauntless Scrap Bot and Consult the Star Charts. I feel like the Signpost Uncommons were very good. Very, very strong plays. Monitor Lizard was pretty good. Brood Tender seemed pretty good. The blue-green one seemed pretty good, right? I like the Scrap Bot just because it's a nice value play. It trades with something, it exiles a graveyard, and it creates a lander token. So lots of stuff to do there, right? But that's it. That's it for me with this set. I'm looking forward to Through the Omen Paths. Spiders, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know. That means I can't use Through the Omen Paths as another title again. The next one's, what's the next Marvel set gonna look like, right? Because it looks like they're gonna be making a few Marvel sets. They only put one Infinity Stone in this set. That implies the plans to make the other Infinity Stones. It's also gonna be strange because that set's only 200 cards. That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. But what I do know is that I want to thank you for watching this, for listening to this. If I made your day any better, I'm actually really happy about that. We're going to continue to record Farewell to the Format. I have thought about putting out additional episodes during the format, but I feel like that goes against the whole idea of Farewell to the Format. How can we say goodbye to the format during the middle of a format? I don't know. So yeah, thanks for listening to my small limited podcast, listening to me ramble about a set that I wasn't thrilled about and completely didn't even bother to draft, except for the one time, just because for the content, obviously. If you enjoyed that, please like, share, and subscribe. Come on over to twitch.tv/DiskRecord. I don't draft live anymore. It's too much to do crowd work, to talk with you guys, and then also make cognizant plays, right? Competent plays, I should say. And then also you just have people that will just tell you what plays to make, and it's like, could you keep that to yourself? And they don't seem to understand. Like, I'm just saying what I would do, and it's like, no. Don't say anything if that's going to be the case, But I don't want to come off as like a dick. But yeah, I've been Dick Record. You've been awesome. Never change unless it's for the better. Make sure you drink some water. I know that we're going into fall. Doesn't mean you shouldn't drink water, folks. And have a great rest of your evening. And you know what? Let's actually crack open one of these stupid Edge of Eternities alchemy packs. I hate alchemy. I hate it so much. Every alchemy card that I've ever read always looked like, what the hell is this? Starting Intensity 1. Off to a great start here. Intensity's a broken thing. And then, oh, what is this? It costs 1 colorless mana. It's an artifact. Whenever another artifact you control enters, increase the... that's not broken at all. It's impossible to make more than 1 artifact off of a single... Sacrifice this artifact, draw X, where X is half this artifact's intensity, rounded down. In a format that has this, you might as well just reprint Ancestral Recall. Are you kidding me? There are ways to just make this draw you 5-10 cards for 1 mana in a turn. If this came into play tapped, I could see this being like considered slightly okay. This is not okay. Oh god, I'm so glad I don't touch alchemy or anything involving alchemy. I hate it. I absolutely hate it when they force us to do historic alchemy midweek magic brawl, because then you start seeing some of these stupid cards with the alchemy symbol on them, and it's so frustrating to have to go, oh, so that you cast this 1 mana sorcery and you get to choose from 4 cards outside the game, and 2 of them go in your graveyard. Oh, these all have flashback, and you found a way to generate infinite mana this turn. Thanks for watching, folks. Sorry to end on such a dour note. You take care.